I'm Jackie Lovejoy. I'm president of the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for tuning in again. It's another episode of the Chamber Cafe. Thanks for seeing what's on your community menu. If you don't know who my guests are today, let me tell you, they're some of our best kept secrets. Dr. Ali Hassan and his lovely wife Mona, they own Salon 360 and Med Spa. They also own First Choice Urgent Care, both in Dearborn and Garden City, just inside the border of Garden City. And then OcMed Services, which is kind of like a professional medical services that services a lot of Southeast Michigan, housed in Taylor. So I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for being such great community partners, such great brick and mortar businesses. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
No, it's a pleasure. So let's talk in the beginning. How did you become a doctor? Did you know from a young age you were going to be a doctor?
I did. From a very early age, even when I was in high school, I've always wanted to be a doctor. And it was a long haul, like many doctors, and started out in high school in West Africa, and then moved here to Henry Ford Community College in Dearborn. And after that, I went to Wayne State and been with Wayne State and currently with the Detroit Medical Center since I became a full-fledged physician.
That's wonderful. Another great chamber member, the DMC.
Yeah.
That's great. So when you were in medical school, now did you always cater to the urgent care, the emergency medicine? Was that your forte, or did you have a different specialty?
So emergency medicine.
Yes.
I've been doing emergency medicine. I specialized and became board certified in emergency medicine after med school. And I've been doing emergency medicine since. I'm still doing emergency medicine as I do urgent care as well.
I have to say, I've used your services a couple of times because urgent care is fabulous, not only for urgent things, but also if you need that flu shot and flu season's approaching, I can always just zip down the street, or depending on where I'm at, up to Garden City and get my flu shot, get a pneumonia shot, any of those things. I remember I fell and actually needed a splint and came into your facility, and you were super busy, and it was flu season, and I thought, I'm going to let, because there was somebody very sick at the front desk, not on your staff, a patient at the front desk. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let them continue. And it turned out to be nothing.
Sure.
But it's just so handy to have you there. And both of your facilities are kind of side by side. So it's kind of not only a real life marriage, but a marriage of the two businesses. Which came first, the salon or urgent care?
Actually, interestingly enough, it was the salon. And it was after marriage. It wasn't before marriage, so people know us as a couple with the salon and urgent care. But started out as a salon in West Dearborn, and I don't know if you want to shed some light on that.
Yeah, well, it was a salon, a small little salon kind of in West Dearborn, like a little place for me to play around and have some fun with some clients. And once our lease was up, Ali told me, he's like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to expand? Do you want to stay home? What do you want to do? And I kind of felt bad if I would just close my doors and not service my clients. So we started looking at buildings, and we came across the old Audette building, and I fell in love with the building, even though it needed some, TLC and some renovations.
You really
but
glammed it up. It's
we
beautiful.
love it. We love doing that. So that's how it started, and we opened up the salon first, and then the urgent care.
That's fantastic. And you have 3 lovely children, 3 boys, right?
We do, 3 boys, yep.
Congratulations.
3 boys. Thank you so much.
And how old are they?
We have a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 2-year-old. Yep.
Great ages, all fun ages.
Oh yeah, they're so much fun.
That's wonderful.
They're so much
That's
fun.
wonderful. So you're a licensed cosmetologist
right.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that career path. Did you know early on you were going to go into that?
I did.
Oh,
yep.
very good.
So ever since I was a little girl, I've always had a passion for beauty, playing around with my Barbies, cutting their hair. So I've always loved doing that. And I went to Fortson High School, and that was nice because they offered that class, that beauty class.
You could do a half day in cosmetology
right.
school, yeah.
So that was really good. And I went to college. I dabbled around with a little bit of interior design. So that's kind of where I got the ideas, for the salons. And I just love doing the beauty.
Okay, so let's talk about your scope of services, because you not only are, hair and some nails and some massage, but let's talk about everything that you do there, because you also have the whole the whole beautiful medical side of
Right,
beauty.
right.
A beautiful marriage again.
Yeah, I think the med spa part of it is great because we have, my husband being a doctor, so we can offer, a lot of the services like Botox, fillers. We have facials that are, medical grade facials that you need a physician to be part of. So
A certain level of glycolic
Right,
peel
so-
or different
yeah.
acids. Yes.
So it's great because we offer that at both of our locations. So
That's wonderful.
so we, work good hand in hand together. The beauty part and the medical part. So why not?
That is handy. I will
Yes.
say that. Okay, so urgent care came after the salon.
It did.
Let's and you were on staff at the DMC.
Correct.
Okay, so let's talk about that evolution. How'd you go from physician to business owner, entrepreneur?
Well, sometimes I guess necessity is the mother of invention. I start early on with business, just by need, helping my family out, even going through med school, helping out, and we opened up a business, had nothing to do with the medical field back then. So they kind of gave me a little bit of a business background. In 2007, myself and a couple of other physicians kind of explored the idea of an urgent care. Urgent care was still in its infancy. And the DMC as well was opening up a multi-specialty clinic in Dearborn, Dearborn Heights actually, on Ford and Telegraph. And
Oh yeah, they sure
so-
did.
And it was right around the same time we were exploring urgent care, and it was kind of, okay, you guys want to do this? We're looking at doing this. So we subleased from the DMC and put an after-hours urgent care. That was probably the first experience with urgent care. And it was more after hours, just from 5:30 to 10:30, and then on weekends. And as we started gaining more patients, and patients really liked the services we offered, and having an ER background really gives you a good look at both sides. As insurance companies are trying to lower cost, as the whole healthcare field has transitioned into lower cost and quick care. It was a kind of almost like a perfect timing to be in that space. So this was in 2009, and so with the DMC, got into subleasing from them and opened up the first clinic. And as the DMC was transitioning out of that, they've gone through a lot of changes.
Sure.
Happened to be at a time where our lease was finishing up, and she had opened up the salon in West Dearborn. We had another building with that facility. It just made sense to open a full-day clinic. Most of our patients would ask us, is there any way you can see us during the day? So there was a need. So we went to West Dearborn, and
And the rest is history.
The
The rest
This
is
is
history.
that's right.
Well, I have to say, do you find this to be generationally true that you do capture a younger audience in urgent care? Because a lot of, like, my mom will not go to urgent care. She'd rather go to her, and she doesn't understand if they can't fit you in, her doctor is associated with a local urgent care. Do you find any differences like that, or who your typical patient is?
Yeah, I think there is some truth to what you're saying, even though that's changing. As more of the senior generation uses urgent care, and they realize, oh wow, I came in, I left, it was quick, it was less than half an hour, and they were able
Exactly.
to provide good care for me. They like it, so they do come back. But you're right.
She
your
is
point
much
is well
more
taken.
senior, though, and she'll kill me if she hears me say this, but she's 81. She's not 65.
Yeah,
so,
we see
yeah.
we see
Yeah.
81.
Yeah.
We see yesterday I had a patient 88 years old, and it's interesting you say that, because first thing the wife did is came in first and said, "Is this something that my husband is in the car? Can people take care of this for us here?" And I said, I am an ER physician. I'll do everything I do typically in the ER, with the exception if I need a CAT scan or I need something that's higher level of care. And so they came in and took care of them, and they went home.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So maybe I should say my mom's a stubborn 81-year-old.
Well, no, but your point is well taken,
Yeah.
and I didn't amplify that. So
Yeah.
the younger generation tend to use urgent care a lot more. They don't have the patience to
True.
go and make an appointment and go into the doctor and wait and and so forth. So they want to, if they decide this minute they want to go in for care, they just go in. So from that standpoint, that's why you've seen actually urgent care bloom
That's what I was
so much over the last few years. So
And as you get, you know, I hate to put myself in an older category, but as you get to be more our age and your schedule fills up, and I look at the calendar, oh my gosh, it's late October, I haven't had my flu shot yet. This is quick and easy. I go down the street.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, when you're sick, do you want to make an appointment 3 days from now?
No.
That's
No,
that's
please
the case.
help
so,
me.
yeah.
And you are as full service as a regular doctor's office too, because I've come to the office when I haven't felt well, and one of your physicians said, well, let's just see if this is just a bad cold. And I called you back a couple days later, and I was out of town, and I had no voice at all, and I progressed, and you said, I can tell it's you on the phone, let's call you in something. And I was so
Right.
thankful. People don't realize that your services extend that far too, just like a regular practice.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, we want to see you, get you better, and if you're not better in a couple of days, we're going to take care of you, whether you're here or you're
Yeah.
1,000 miles away, and you give us a
Exactly.
call. We're there to help. So
Yeah, because I'm all about convenience, and you really do make it. And Mona, your salon, Johnny on the spot. If I call for, this doesn't happen overnight, folks.
Oh yeah, we try to get you in as quickly as we could. And you know, I have a lot of my clients that actually go to the clinic next door, and they're like, do they do sports physicals? And I'm like, yes. Do they do x-rays? Yes. You know, I have a lot of my clients call me and say, thank you so much, you know, your husband was great, or the staff was great. So we really kind of
It really does, because especially where you're both locations, you're situated so well. It's like, oh, there's hey, you know what? I should get my flu shot, or hey, I should stop in and make
Yeah.
my next appointment. Maybe Mona has an opening.
Right. Right.
Beautify me before the next ribbon cutting.
You're beautiful, Jackie. You don't need
I
anything.
don't know.
that's right. That's right.
Depends on the day, guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ahmed and Taylor. Let's talk
Sure.
about a little bit of those services, because I know we have a lot of business owners that actually watch the cable show in Dearborn
Sure,
Heights. Let's talk
sure.
about that.
So at First Choice, we do a lot of occupational medicine services. Occupational medicine services include things like, a company doing new hires, and they have to do pre-employment physicals and so forth. Cities and municipalities, they have new firefighters coming on board, new police that they're hiring, and they need to have specific physicals. These are physicals that are extensive, and they're actually catered towards what a police officer may do during their job. And
So range of motion,
Absolutely.
physicality.
yes, it's involved, whether you're doing a PFT, a pulmonary function test, an EKG. Make sure they're healthy enough to be out there, and their hearing is good so that they can hear the sirens, and they can see color, and so forth. So these are extensive physicals, and you really need the expertise to do it. And one thing we've done over the past few years at First Choice is we've expanded our occupational health services, and it's grown very well. So we decided last year to have really another arm to First Choice, which is our occupational health services, and opened up Ahmed Connect in Taylor. Ahmed Connect does not do urgent care services at this point in Taylor, and strictly occupational health. As the demand grew, especially in Dearborn, we had to, and we wanted to give our companies more availability, and where they can just walk in, be taken care of, their employees can be taken care of, drug screening, breath alcohol testing, and so forth. We opened up Taylor. And the other thing that we do through Taylor is we do a lot of teaching for companies, safety and compliance.
Oh, very good.
We do DOT.
OSHA compliance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have a great team. We have a safety officer. We do a lot of on-sites where we go out to the company, and we
That was my next question. I'm sure you do a lot of visits too.
do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, one-stop shop will come to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We go out, we do audiograms, if somebody needs a hearing test, those kind of things. If a municipality has, say, with the recent hepatitis A outbreak, we go out there, we administer vaccines on site for them. DOT regulations change all the time for the Department of Transportation, and sometimes, human resource departments are bogged down with all the things that they do, and so we come out and we do a class for them, or CPR training. So we do everything.
That's amazing.
Everything you need at your, with your municipality or with your factory or business, we do it.
That's a huge range of services. So, because CPR training is really, if I remember, it's at least 8 hours of training, usually broken up into a Saturday or 2 4-hour sessions, a Friday night and a Saturday morning.
Yeah, so we do BLS training, CPR training. We do, like I said, DOT drug testing, DOT guidelines, make sure companies understand these new regulations that come out, HIPAA training, making sure the flow of information people understand. It's so easy to not remember what's, or really violate some HIPAA rules without really knowing what the guidelines are and really understanding it. Most of it you would think it's common sense, but it's easy for common sense to be put on the sideline, and then you don't realize it. People don't commit HIPAA violations on purpose. They do it not knowing or not thinking that it's a HIPAA violation. So that's where we educate, human resource departments and folks that take care of employees and hiring and so forth, and educate them on what really is reasonable and what's not.
Let's talk about what's what's a HIPAA violation that somebody wouldn't think twice about. They would talk about casually in front of other people, or.
Well, so anytime you're going to identify somebody, so you have 1 or 2 patient identifiers, usually at least 2, which will identify you as a person. If I said, hey, I had a patient that came in today with a head laceration, that's okay, right?
Sure.
The minute I put a name on it, or I even put a date of birth, or I tie it to something else that identifies you as an individual, that could potentially be a HIPAA violation. So if you're speaking in general terms is one thing, it's another thing to be doing
To say
that.
Jackie fell down in front of the coffee shop
Right.
and came in because she thought she broke her hand.
Absolutely.
Or like a photo,
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you said, it's a casual conversation you're having, not even thinking it, but you've already identified that person. You've already identified what they came in for. That is a HIPAA violation.
I have to say, so in my regular practice, there's a variety of PAs that I see, and I saw one of them at the grocery store, and she always says, well, of course, I like to say hi, and I do say hi. She says, but so many times I'll be here, and a patient will come in and say, look, you fixed, the rash is gone. And she's like, everybody's standing around, and as their practitioner, I really can't acknowledge one way or the other. And I say, well, that's very nice, isn't it? And I have to walk away, and I have to remind them the next time I see them that I can't comment on their condition in public.
Absolutely.
So as conversational as we are, we can be our own worst enemy.
No, for sure. And for us, with the occupational health component of what we do as well, we have to keep mindful of what an employer can get and what they cannot get. So when we transmit information over, you come in, you're doing a pre-employment, you may not want to let your employer know that you have diabetes or you have something else. And so we make sure that what we're transmitting over doesn't have
any kind of
personal medical information. Yeah, they don't need to know, some of those things. And
it's kind of like doing the FAFSA, only giving the information that's requested.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anything you can do with the minimal amount of information required, that's what you really want to do. And if you practice that, if you make that your general practice, I think you'll be safe for the most part with HIPAA. And these laws came about for good reasons, right?
Well, and then unfortunately, there's those folks out there, and I can't tell you the one that sticks in my mind is a Beverly Hills hospital released, I think, Ronald Reagan's records and George Clooney's records at the same time, and this person thought they would be paid by the tabloids and ended up getting fired and sued. Yeah. There's always those bad apples here and there that help everybody else. So it is a chamber show. Why don't you guys tell me, what do you love about the chamber? It's so rare I get to do our own plug here.
I think the chamber is great. You guys, bring light to all the businesses. You, do all these events that other businesses can come and see. I know we've done a chamber event at your urgent care a couple years ago, and all the other businesses came and got to see his clinic.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that's really nice, having to look at the other businesses.
Introducing businesses to the neighborhood, things like that.
The parties are great,
Well, we do. We do a lot of events that are for the members, so they can meet each other, they can interact with each other, and we do repeat exposure, because you can meet somebody once, but if you lose that business card or your memory's not that great, it takes 27 touches to be top of mind.
Right.
So to get you in front of people, and even if you physically can't be there, to get your name in front of people and things like that. That's one of the key things that we do. And then we get by on our 4 major fundraisers, so which are our parties. And they do turn out very well. Taste of Dearborn's June 20th.
Oh, we love the Taste of Dearborn. We love it.
It's a big success. It really is.
We love it. We've done it every year.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we take our kids.
We love
Yeah.
it.
Our kids love it as well. They want to go try different places, and
Oh yeah.
so.
Buffalo Wild Wings. My son, he has never had Buffalo Wild Wings, and ever since the Taste of Dearborn, we got to go to Buffalo. We got to go to Buffalo. Still, I haven't taken him, but we're gonna have to make some time for that.
And that's it. People always, we have 30 restaurants, and we have 30 different restaurants. Everything from Buffalo Wild Wings to Bar Louie to upscale Italian, Tria, Big Fish, French restaurants. We have sushi. We have a little Thai, and let alone Lapita and our other Middle Eastern partners. Mint 29 is going to be part of Taste this year.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's
good.
so many restaurants popping up in West Dearborn, right? I mean, it's a hub for restaurants, so there's never
It's nice
not
to
enough.
see that.
So it's kind of nice that
It's
you
nice
guys
to see
include
that,
them.
and I think West Dearborn is going to be amazing.
Well, and the arts development down in East Dearborn. Have you guys been down to M Cantina yet in East Dearborn? So they have a little food enclave going on there, and they're going to be part of Taste as well. M Cantina, I have to tell you, great success story, and they're looking at knocking down the wall and moving into the space next door. It's they have a mixologist there that does nothing but healthy juices and unique drinks, and it's street food from Mexico. They came, they were going to open up in Detroit, and they looked around. They're like, well, we're from Dearborn originally. Why aren't we in Dearborn? And with Art Space being 100% occupied, we really see a lot of that neighborhood coming, into the fold. And Dearborn's going to be one of the first smart cities in the United States. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Nice.
So we have a lot coming on the horizon, to say the least. I'd like to thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
Yeah.
Jackie.
And my final question I ask everybody, if you weren't doing what you're doing, if you weren't into beauty, if you weren't into medicine, what do you think you guys would be doing today?
Boy, that's a tough question. For me, it'll have to be something with medicine. I really enjoy doing medicine. So it'll have to be somewhat related, I always tell people you can make money doing anything. The beauty of medicine, you have a great job, but you also can help. And there's nothing more rewarding than somebody coming and tell you, oh, you saved my dad's life. There's nothing more rewarding than that. And I can tell you, so many stories, especially being an ER doc, and in the ER we're at the forefront, so we see people when they're in the worst shape, right?
Sure.
So it's so rewarding when somebody comes and thanks you for saving their life. There's nothing that would pay you more than that.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And that's it. There's nothing worse than wishing for a snow day when you're 40. It's like, and Mona, anything special?
I always love beautifying things, so I love to design. So I think maybe designing, I love decorating. So I get to do that at the salon and the other, facilities, but I think that's what I would do. So it's always into beauty. I love making things look pretty.
I always ask because folks, inevitably, when I have them on the show, it's like they're destined for their careers. And it's always interesting to hear. Or they have a complementary hobby that really feeds that passion.
Yeah. She'll definitely be, we'll probably buying places and rehabbing them, and she'll be doing all the interior design and everything else. She loves doing that. So.
I love making something that isn't as pretty look like wow. Like it was, like a diamond.
And you do a nice job of it, too.
Thank you.
Beautiful stuff. You guys, thanks for being on our show. First Choice Urgent Care, Salon 360, both in Dearborn and Garden City, and then Ahmed Occupational.
Ahmed Connect and
Yes,
Taylor.
in Taylor. Employers, if you have to have a drug screen, a mobility test, this is the place to go.
Thank you.
No, thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
No, my pleasure. Okay, so stay tuned, and we'll be back with another episode of the Chamber Cafe, maybe Lunch with Lovejoy, or maybe an episode of So That's What You Do.